Previously on Nintendo Enthusiast.
Oh, cool. A new email from Nintendo. Wait, a 3DS game? Etrian Odyssey. Where's my 3DS? Dear Nintendo, unfortunately we can't take the 3DS review code because I don't have a 3DS. Wait a second. I have a 2DS. That means... the door! What's up, guys? If you want to see more funny skits like that, be sure to hit that subscribe button, or maybe even the notifications bell if you're feeling very generous. I would be very grateful. But anyway, you're probably wondering, how is Etrian Odyssey Nexus on the 3DS? If you're still a hardcore 3DS gamer, then you probably had your eyes on this game. Well, today I'm going to talk about it, so let's go ahead and jump on in. Etrian Odyssey Nexus is the final outing of the Atlus dungeon crawler RPG series on Nintendo 3DS. It's somewhat of a celebration of everything great about the previous games in the series. However, this was actually my first Etrian Odyssey game, so I went into it without any preconceived notions about what the game should or shouldn't be. Ultimately, I think Nexus succeeds at delivering a robust dungeon crawling experience. The instant the game begins, you are invited to name your guild and create a party of adventurers from scratch. You get to select their appearance from a multitude of gorgeous pre-made portraits, and you can even tweak the color scheme. There are also an incredible 19 character classes available from the start, and they all function in unique ways. Furthermore, each level up allows you to place 1 point into developing their skill trees, so even two characters of the same class can start to function a little differently. The replay value is through the roof in Etrian Odyssey Nexus, just because of how many different parties you can create. The fact that subclasses are later unlocked only adds to the complexity, although the trade-off is that the story is virtually non-existent. Sure, plenty of recurring NPCs appear and push the narrative forward, but the singular purpose of the narrative is to offer up an excuse for your party to go exploring another labyrinth. If a story in a JRPG is critically important to you, I wouldn't play this game. The hallmark of Etrian Odyssey is the Labyrinth Mazes that get mapped out on the DS's touchscreen, and Nexus delivers a whole lot of that. If you choose, the game will also auto-map for you as you explore, but you will still need to mark doors, stairs, secret passages, and more manually. It's strangely satisfying to create your own hard-earned maps. Ultimately, many story dungeons in this game are actually lifted from previous series entries, so longtime fans will have a lot to geek out about. Regardless, I appreciate that each story labyrinth at least tries to differentiate itself from the last one. Sometimes you're tiptoeing past damage-dealing tiles while evading dangerous on-map enemies. Sometimes you're purposely manipulating giant enemies into chasing you across the map. The visuals of each dungeon make an effort to be distinct as well, but as with most 3DS games, the graphics are nothing to marvel over. The 3D effects works well for judging distances when drawing maps though. I did feel some fatigue with dungeons after a while though, since I'm not really a regular player of this genre. There is an inherent repetition to navigating mazes over and over. Fortunately, the stellar soundtrack kept me going. The quality of the music in this game is truly awesome, with so many songs that are worth humming even when you're not playing the game. When traversing labyrinths, resource management is everything. The game has 4 difficulties, and it subtly encourages you to select Expert, the second most difficult. On this setting, mashing the attack button and trying to conserve TP, magic points, will get you killed almost immediately. You need to make tactical use of special skills in every fight in order to win, and you will never get complacent. Etrian Odyssey Nexus stresses the value of inflicting both status effects and binds, the latter of which seals off the ability to use skills associated with specific body parts. You better get good at this though, because enemies sure are tough. That being said, the regular battles usually aren't brutal, and trying to run from battle typically succeeds with 2 turns. Even if you die, the game is kind enough to let you save your map data while your other progress is lost. but there's a cheap item that whisks you back into town instantly. So basically, the trick is just understanding your party's limits and knowing when to run back to town to heal. Survival is not the only reason to approach combat creatively though. Defeating enemies drops specific materials, and defeating enemies via specific methods can make them drop more rare materials. Almost all items in Etrian Odyssey Nexus are made from these materials or materials gathered from specifically marked spots on the map. So if you want to equip the best gear and use the best healing items, you need to stock up. Gear and healing items matter all the time, but they matter most in boss fights, which are in every labyrinth. Bosses, on expert setting at least, are no joke. Each one of them has a unique quality or gimmick to overcome, and just remembering to heal every round isn't enough strategy to survive. To me, boss battles almost always felt like a losing fight up until I actually won, and I can't remember the last time an RPG made me feel such dread when going up against a boss. However, a major reason why boss fights are so challenging is because their HP is enormous. It's entirely common for a boss fight to extend well over half an hour as a result. And if you die, it feels like you wasted a huge amount of time, which can get really exhausting after a while. Granted, you can lower the difficulty at any time unless you pick the highest difficulty, which will alleviate things, but it's a shame a better middle ground couldn't have been struck. Etrian Odyssey Nexus is Christmas morning for dungeon crawler lovers, thanks to its incredible party customization and abundant maps. The difficulty will keep you on your toes, but not sweating too badly, except in the brutal and lengthy boss fights. And the exceptional soundtrack will keep you in a great mood to go exploring. However, the paper-thin story and lack of things to do outside of traversing mazes make this game unlikely to entice new players to the genre. Basically, Etrian Odyssey Nexus perfectly satisfies its target audience, and doesn't really try to do anything else.